A pluses, nerd mixes. What's going on? It is I, Indy Uchiha, Mr. Nerd Mix Alpha himself, and I'm here to bring you the review for Flash Season 8, Episode 1, Armageddon Part 1. Now, one thing I want to get into before we even get into this, there's a lot of people I feel like that are approaching this. This is a crossover. Another time where heroes team up to take down a villain. After watching this episode, I do not feel like this is what that is. As Eric Wallace has said in an interview that he had, it's not a crossover. And this is directly from an interview that he had with, I think this is Den of Geek that he had this with. So let's get into this right quick before we get into the review, so we just break down so we can temper expectations of exactly what this is supposed to be, right? So check this out. This is not a crossover. Showrunner Eric Wallace tells via Zoom of Armageddon, the 5-episode event story that kicks off Flash Season 8. I could not stress enough that this is a 5-part special event, which means it's a traditional graphic novel centered around the Flash that's a little bit bigger, a little bit more exciting, a little bit extra. The emotions are a little deeper, but it is not a crossover. That doesn't mean that Armageddon isn't big. It is. 5 episodes, 6 heroes, in addition to the Team Flash regulars and one of the most legendary villains in the Justice League history, all turn up over the course of Armageddon. Just maybe not all at once. What I don't want to get is people ready for a scene with 20 heroes in it, going to 10 different worlds and 15 different timelines. Wallace said, people need to understand that we still can't do crossovers because of COVID restriction and protocols. What we want to do is get across some feeling with Armageddon that folks would associate with these kinds of larger stories that are called crossovers. Even though additional guest stars include pivotal characters from Batwoman, Black Lightning, Supergirl, Arrow, and Legends of Tomorrow, Wallace keeps focused firmly on the Flash. One thing I want to get across that's completely different about Armageddon from any other Arrowverse event is that this is not a story of Barry and Oliver like all the other past crossovers where he says this is a Barry story. This is the story of Barry Allen's worst day ever and how it affects his marriage. It's a very Flash centric, so that's going to feel different right out the gate. That's what I wanted to hear when it came to Armageddon, and the first episode, part 1 off bat, did not disappoint when it came to that. Not only did it not disappoint, it feels like the Flash might have got a little bit of money, like their budget is a little bit larger. Am I right? It looks like they gave Flash all the money. Something just looks different about this show. The feel of the show is different. And I don't know if you guys noticed at all, but it felt like you had Barry Allen being a leader and not the person that who's going to depend on the team to do what they need to do. It felt like he was dishing out orders and moving like a hero should move, a la Oliver Queen. So I really, really dug what they got into in this first episode, as it opens up with Despero watching all of this destruction and turmoil at some point in the timeline, and you kind of see him teleport to whatever he's going to teleport to, and the teleporting time traveling effect that they have for him, which I feel that I have in Power Director on my phone, was actually really, really good with the way it came across. I'm glad they didn't do like the normal Power Ranger Flash or just somebody like phasing and phasing out. I really like the whole mirror folding looking thingy that they do when he teleports, right? You got Barry and Alice enjoying themselves, sitting on the couch, talking about, he bought pizza from, I think, was it Mulan or something like that. And Iris has been real busy. We see what the Citizen has grown into. It's a conglomerate now. It's grown. They're more than just in the little office they have. They have a full office facility now. and Iris is tired, you know what I'm saying, been at home a lot. The kids are gone, so you know what I'm saying, they name drop their kids. Glad that they're gone, getting ready to get their freak on, you know what I'm saying? And who knocks at the door? None other than Ray Palmer, who's picking up on that they got some type of Comic-Con or, you know what I'm saying, expo or something like that going on, and his hotel is overbooked. So he's picking up on, you know how you tell your friends, like, if you're in town, you need some place to stay, you know what I'm saying, no questions asked, you know what I'm saying, just come through, we got you. Well, Ray Palmer picked up on that and just dropped in on Barry and Iris, and again, their quality time is ruined. So this is like the first appearance that we had of Ray Palmer since, like, in the Adam suit too, since like was it the last time we saw him was Legends of Tomorrow, like that? So it was real good seeing this character back and him doing what he wanted to do now, just his research and tinkering with stuff, not wanting to be the Atom, and the connection between him and C-Man is real interesting what they went on in this episode, because they had a plot development for him. It almost felt like it was a saying goodbye, you know what I'm saying, to Ray Palmer and him getting his last hurrah. Because we do know that we have Ryan Choi coming up in this part 5 thing too. So I'm hoping we get both, you know what I'm saying, versions of the Atom. But you do get the team up with Barry and Ray Palmer, you know what I'm saying, towards the end for the fight with Despero. It's a lot of build up in this episode to let you know what's going on. The fight with the Royal Flush Gang, when you found out they were still in tech in order to mine Bitcoin, to steal Bitcoin from banks, is really, really good, especially with the climate of you know, how that Bitcoin and stuff is going. It gave a real world current event effect on what they were doing with that, and I really appreciate that, because you know me, I got more money in Bitcoin, you know, so yeah, I understood why the Royal Flush Gang would be going around, you know, going out for digital currency, trying to get it from these casinos, because there's casinos out there that have digital currency. So they're stealing technology in order to be able to build a supercomputer in order to mine that Bitcoin from the casinos, and you know, Flash just put a stop to it. But it's an interesting aspect, I feel, why they picked that particular villain group of the day for the Flash to stop, because the Queen can read minds, and she was using her mind reading in order to be able to stay a step ahead of everybody else. And we know that Despero can read minds, you know what I'm saying? And he has the strength of Forza, however you pronounce that, because I'm horrible at, you know what I'm saying, pronunciating words from different cultures. Um, I really enjoyed that, and I feel like that was foreshadowing to maybe a way that Despero could be defeated, because Flash was able to think super fast, and there's times in that Despero fight was actually a really good fight. And I have to give it up to the CG team for the alien version of Despero that actually looked pretty good. And even though you could tell that it was CG, the way that they put the process on top of everything else that was going on was actually cleaner than things that he did in prior seasons. So again, when I said I feel like they got a bigger budget, that whole feel was there too. And you got Curtis being the liaison to Ryan Choi. I was gonna say Ryan Choi, Ray Palmer, and the fanboy of him, as he was a Ray Palmer. He's a fanboy of everybody that he meets that, you know, was a legend, or a part of this or a part of that. So that was pretty interesting with that, and it was a good storyline for Curtis. They had a lot going on with Iris over at the Citizen, and I feel like they're going to put some type of bad thing, you know what I'm saying, happening when it comes to again, Barry and Iris's relationship, because I seem like they're trying to get them doing more of what they're doing in their lane and not having enough time for each other. And Iris, with her growing business and her being in the forefront of things, she ends up putting Allegra in charge of the Citizen. And with Allegra being young and not having all of the time in, and you have seasoned reporters and stuff like that, it was interesting watching how she would adapt to doing that situation where people didn't respect her, and how she was going to earn the respect and show why Iris gave her that position. So Yeah, it was really good. I mean, it wasn't really explained how the citizen grew like so quickly in a matter of time, because I don't really know if we know how much time has passed between season 7 and season 8. But this episode in general did a lot of good character work with a lot of characters that we wanted to have more character work last season. They did more with Allegra and my man C in this episode than they really did all friggin' season last season. So we're actually off to a good part. Um Normally when we go to the citizen crew, stuff isn't interesting, but at least these were interesting. And I mean, uh, when you got Ray Palmer on anything, he normally steals the show. He just got that type of vibe, you know what I'm saying? But uh he was able to delegate like his charisma to everybody else when he was on screen and made sure everybody got what they were supposed to get. You know what I'm saying? As far as shine and everything goes. But Ray being in this episode and them using him in the first episode really helped push my enjoyment of part one. And if this is where we're gonna go, I really feel like I'm gonna like this, especially if we're spending time with each character and Barry building a better, tighter relationship with these characters, or being able to work with each person one on one, and all these guest stars not having to fight over screen time to get their time in is going to be good, especially when you get to Mia Queen and when you get to Black Lightning, because I really feel like the relationship between Black Lightning and Flash is going to be real interesting. Mia Queen being back on screen, and even the new Batwoman, you know what I'm saying, meeting Flash for the first time is going to be really interesting, because they're going to get a lot more one-on-one time than having to deal with the whole there's 20 superheroes on the screen at one time. So I'm really hype for what they're finna do with that. uh you end up with Despero coming to tell Flash that he's responsible for some catastrophe that's going to happen like in a decade or something, and that he came back to kill Flash so it wouldn't happen. Um they have a nice fight. They have a, you know what I'm saying, and the Adam and the Flash scene with the fight with Despero, like I said, looked way better than what expected. It was kind of short, but the way that they beat him was interesting, with Adam being able to jump into his little time traveling belt and disrupt it, and with Ray Palmer being super intelligent and actually working on a time machine, and the tech still being so far out of his knowledge that he didn't even know where he sent dude, or he couldn't send him to a certain spot, was very interesting. And it kind of gives you a kind of hint of Despero is going to be somebody that they're going to have to deal with. He even flashes back and reads Flash's mind when Flash tells him, I'm not this person. I'm sincere. I'm honest. All I want to do is help people. So he gives Flash 7 days to prove that he's not going to be the destruction that happens, you know what I'm saying, in the future. And if he doesn't, he's going to kill him. Now, when you look at Despero, he looks like a villain, right? But the way they're portraying him here, he's almost like an anti-hero who, or he might just be a villain who's going to do what he has to do in order to save himself. But it comes off as he doesn't want the future to be destroyed. He doesn't want the Flash to do whatever the Flash is going to do. So he's willing to do what nobody else is going to do and go to the past and kill the Flash before it happens. So I'm geeked to see what's going to happen the next episode. This was a very good entry episode on what we got. It was really just like a ode to Ray, and it felt like a catch up to introduce where the story is going for the next 4 weeks, but to get you accommodated with where Flash is at in this world, and to show you that this is going to be a Flash centric story, just like the showrunner Eric Wallace said. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. I thought it was dope. I enjoyed it a lot. I can't wait for next week. You guys stay tuned. We got a lot of more content coming. Yeah, make sure you check out Anime Assemble Saturday. We got a special interview with an anime influenced artist who he did a whole anime influence album, the Kamikage 0.5. Intel the Brain. Go stream his music everywhere. Intel the Brain is actually pretty good. I'm featured on it too. So we're continuing our hip hop and anime conversation that we've been talking about for this past month. why not? It's a great theme and it's a lot to go into. So if you guys want to check that out, make sure you go tune into the past episodes and be ready for this episode coming up this Saturday. Spider-Man trailer drop. So we do have our reaction to that trailer. Me and Adam did right after it dropped. That's up there too. You'll probably see it up there in one of these corners right here. So you can click on that and check that out. But until next time, as I always say, keep it A+. This has been a Nerd Mix, and I'm gonna let Adam tell you guys how you can join the Patreon. Andy out.
If you enjoy our content and want to be a part of helping our channel grow, become a patron supporter. We have affordable tiers to choose from that offer a variety of exclusive and early access content, from audio files for all of our shows for you to enjoy on the road, access to our Discord community, and plenty of reactions, reviews, character breakdowns, and more. Check us out at patreon.com/A+opinions. And as always, remember, like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so anytime we drop a brand new video, you will be notified.